Cody, are you able to record? Not yet, but when it starts. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, good evening, afternoon. It's like the Truman Show every time. How are we all doing today? Good Labor Day weekend?
Yeah. Relaxing.
See, Bagman, you've been traveling yet again.
I have been traveling yet again. I was up in Victoria, BC, which was super fun. So yeah, it's beautiful city up there, especially this time of year. So nice.
Nice, yeah. No, I've been very curious to go there. I hear they still have London buses. Is that correct? The double-decker red.
I actually didn't see any London buses, but it does have that, super British vibe to it. That's for sure. Yeah, the Empress Hotel, and I don't know, all the architecture there is like classic,
Yeah, no, beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Butchard's Garden too. Oh man, that's a cool spot. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I hear. I mean, that the whole of Vancouver Island is supposed to be absolutely lovely, just to go hiking on or whatever it is you might
Especially
want.
this time of year too. It's so nice.
Nice. I mean, Wilder will know far more than I do, but I'll be heading over there before too long, hopefully. So we'll see.
Fantastic.
I'm just worried about the bears. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. All right,
Okay.
for?
I think we have everyone.
Perfect.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, oh, 5. Good morning. So we can get started. The agenda is in the chat. And thank you for everyone for reviewing. There were so many of those proposals. So thank you for reviewing and voting on all those. And we actually have more coming today. So if you can keep on the lookout for those in the chat, because they also need to be pushed forward quickly. So hopefully by the end of tomorrow, those can go out. But we can start. Chris has some announcements, and then we can get started with the rest of the agenda.
Hello, everybody. Hope this is not too loud with us.
It's hard to hear you.
I just have the window hearing on right now. It's still bad. You can understand what I'm saying at least. Well, maybe I'll switch to mic here in a second. But the main thing here that I don't want to address was that yes, thank you so much for going through and voting on those proposals that I put through. Scotty getting doing your part, and then all of the voters voting. That being said, that's really only like the first step. I really want you guys' sign off on the individual contracts themselves. Now that you're all under NDA, you can actually see those, and we need to move on them very quickly because right now we have 3 market makers that we like a lot, and we either have to tell them all yes, or some of them yes, or some of them
recording
no,
magic
or
minutes.
figure that all out. Okay, measure minutes. And I really want you guys to sign up on the individual contracts. This goes also for IVC and everything of that, because you approved a big chunk, right? Which is great, but you need to be more hands-on, more in the weeds with everything. And last week, as we're getting the NDAs going, couldn't really show you the contracts yet. So that's super important. There's a other contract that I want you to actually approve, because it's with an exchange. I ended up doing some pretty good negotiation with Maxi. So we need to understand if we're going to actually go live with them as well as the other ones, or if we should leave this one out. I think overall it's a pretty good deal. It's actually a full token deal, and yeah, we'll go through the proposal process with you guys once again because of the NDA. You can actually take a look at that and get your approval on that. And then of course the IBC deal. Once you actually take a look at that contract and feel good about that as well. If we can actually get this done either today or tomorrow, that would be great. Just so we can get moving on this because we need to actually lock the market makers in. There's a couple things that are in the up in the air, and we're really relying on other people to do the things. One of the things is the auditors. We're waiting for actually the handoff and the hands-on for like the social staking contract and also Cubesis. Those both very important for us to actually go live, and we're waiting for those auditors to actually finish. Things are moving, but these are one of those things where we are relying on other people to actually finish things to make sure that we hit our deadlines. Overall, this is one of those things where so many plates are spinning right now. There's so many things that need to get done. The other thing too that's we discovered is Galaxy. We originally, one of the actual questioning things is to actually put in your wallet address. We tested this out originally to tie a wallet address with a Galaxy ID. We then pulled this data yesterday, and it was missing the actual Galaxy ID. The column was there, but no data came through. So we are reaching out to Galaxy to say, hey, what the fuck happened? Where's this data at? And then he said that the developers are doing something. So that's another thing that we might need to figure out exactly how to do and what to actually figure out if for some reason that's missing. A couple of ideas thrown out with Zarmi and with your registration process. Maybe we ask them their Galaxy ID as well. I don't know, but we might have to do something there. So there's a lot of plates still spinning. There's no oh shit moments right now, but we are like pretty much everything that is like we are relying on is at that the limit, or we're pushing the limit to actually get this all out. CoinStore, the first exchange, is really doing a great job so far. They've pulled through with their marketing promises and provided a great schedule on how we're going to be how they're going to introduce us to their users and make us big push there. And they're even going above and beyond as far as actually even offering other things that they didn't promise us. So very happy with CoinStore. We'll see when we get to actually MainNet, of course, but they've been really coming through for us overall. But yeah, I'm in Colombia now. I'm full work mode, full heads down from morning till night to make sure that I can jump in wherever I need to be and be able to give my feedback, everything of that sort. But the really thing that we need from you guys is to hit the gas on the approving the contracts, because we need them approved so those market makers can be on board, those exchanges can be on board. Yeah. So pause here. Any questions about anything I just said? No questions? You're like, oh, okay, that sounds good. Yippee-ki-yay.
Wait, yeah. It's regarding the Galaxy stuff. What can you just elaborate a bit more? What exactly happened, and is it like a huge blocker? Is there anything any of us could do to help?
We'll see if it's a huge blocker. What it is during the Cubesis quest, After they created the Croesus wallet, one of the survey questions was, what is your Croesus address? We were using that to tie all of the Galaxy quests to individual wallets. But what happened now is that when we pull the dump of that survey, it's removed all of the Galaxy IDs. So all we have is just a dump of all of the addresses, and not tied to any Galaxy IDs. So yeah, it's a huge fuck up. But I have faith that they'll figure it out. I think they have to have the data somewhere. We're obviously getting it dumped. It's probably instead of bugging the system that they're not combining two tables appropriately. And they were originally, because we tested it out first. We made sure that it did actually work, and it did when we first tested it out. And they're like, okay, now give us that data. So
That's it.
so yeah, no, it's one of those things where it could be a big issue.
Yeah, I think the data's there. They just have a bug. It's the world's most annoying platform to work with. Nothing seems to work first time. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, been talking to them over the weekend and today, and just waiting for them to basically let us know what's going on. But I'd be surprised if the data was somehow missing, because it was there originally, and it's just, it has to be there somewhere, unless they for some reason dumped a table. Who knows? Yeah, Shelley,
Yeah,
please.
Like even if we don't get those mappings from the Galaxy IDs to the addresses, it should be okay, because in the end it comes down to like aggregating the accounts in the questing platform, right?
There's quite a bit of Galaxy only things. We use Galaxy to track social
Okay.
engagement, and so we need that information.
All right.
Worst case is we have the addresses of everyone that, like, we have the void addresses of everyone that did actually fulfill that quest, but we just won't know what they've done. So we could make the assumption that they've all done everything on Galaxy as a worst case thing, and just give everyone a flat reward for doing Galaxy if they've submitted that quest. But I imagine there's a lot of addresses on there that have probably not done everything on Galaxy, or not done everything that they would need to. So obviously we'd love to have that data, but there's definitely paths forward that we can take if we need to.
Yeah, that's the what I proclaimed this morning, the first oh crap moment that we've had so far. So that's only one, and I think we figured something out. So there will be more. But we have to actually get to those points to discover those oh crap moments. But what I like is that this is very transparent. I believe this is recorded. It's on YouTube. This meeting, this being very, very real on our launch. And if anybody that is watching this wants to help, please do. There's a lot of things that need to happen, and the council here is also here to help. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I'll pass it back to you, Shanti.
Okay. Okay, so today we so now that we have you may probably already noticed, but we have a bunch of proposals that Scotty has put in the Discord that have now moved on to community review. And if he hasn't already, the proposal tracker that's linked here in the agenda should be updated, but encourage people in the community to provide their feedback. That's like what the next 5 days are meant for, is to really like get their comments, make sure that they are seeing all of these early proposals that are going through. If they have any questions, they're being answered. And so that's like, I encourage you to like be active in the Discord and like get people to review those. And the next thing so you already know, all of the polls have passed. And so now today we'll send out some new ones. I saved some space here in the agenda under new business if we want to talk about you already talked about some of the new proposals that we need to put together, but I did want to save some space. We can also move it to the end of the agenda if people want to talk about any other than what we have discussed, kind of brought forward as the core team, if there's any other proposals that you think are pressing, that need to be worked on, either amongst yourselves or by others in the community. I know that there's one for, I believe, council payments, and another for another one I believe that the network committee is working on. But is there any proposals that you think are important right now that have crossed any of your minds?
I think the network ones we can put to rest and get the next round going. So for those who haven't caught
Okay.
up, they're submitted. We can definitely get them done this week. They've been tossed around for like probably a month at this point. So for those who aren't in the relay community, they've got a lot of support, and let's enable them to submit the next round. Also, I've in the spirit of getting more proposals active, I think we need to tap some developers on the shoulder, because other than Andrew, I don't think many other are realizing that now's the time to start submitting proposals. So there are some developers I'd like to motivate, and realistically, I need Ludo to want to put together a proposal, because we really need Ludo to come through for us.
Why does it require a proposal?
I'm looking at it from a, how do you make Ludo very engaged with the Void ecosystem and put that above his other priorities? And going to MainNet without a bridge is a failure.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Ludo for a long time. I've always found that grants are like a secondary thing for him. And he just kind of does what he wants. So I think it's more just communication, just making sure that he is still engaged. I mean, during the last builder call, it seemed like he was still, it was his number one priority. So I don't know. See, I mean, yes, he can do a grant and everything, but at the same time, I think he's just working on what he wants to work on.
I believe Aramid is one of the few, or is a project where Ludo's not the owner of the project. I think Daniel is, so it might also be a little bit of getting Daniel maybe more involved here, similar to like Andrew and Shelley's relationship.
Yeah, the biggest issue with getting grants for actual projects before MainNet is that there's not a price for the token. So it's hard to actually sit on something like that. So that's the other thing too. That's like a lot of the proposals that we're getting from market makers is based off of TWAP of what happens to the token after it goes MainNet.
He can also apply for a retroactive grant, right? I believe that's the plan anyway. Or that's what I would suggest he do. Okay. So we do have a bounty board. I didn't link it here. So even if people have ideas for new projects that we should be putting out proposals for, add it to the bounty board. I'll link it here in the notes. Okay, so next we just have a open floor. If anyone has anything that they wanted to bring to the table. I'd asked for agenda items over the week. I don't know if people had time to think about it.
I mean, mostly, do you guys have any concerns about going MainNet and lack of, like, Wilder's brought up the whole potential of not having a bridge. Anything else top of mind for you?
Sorry, Dave, mine are just around marketing, and I think we have IBC, and I'd like to get that through, but I'm imagining it's going to be a multi-pronged approach to drive a lot of awareness, because I looked at the numbers using a projected price, and we're really incentivizing people to come in, get tokens, lock up their tokens, and you need to let the people know who might want to take advantage of that, and we need to make sure we're casting a wide net. So I think it's in hand though. I don't think it's a no shit thing. The bridge to me is just so we're clear. I'm raising now. The bridge is a little bit of a no shit moment. I am trying to talk to Ludo multiple times a week, and I will keep everybody well informed. I'm doing it all through the Aramid channel right now.
Speaking of that, one of the market makers I was talking to didn't have room in for Q3 to actually market make for us, but really love what we're doing. And so they said that what they plan on doing is actually providing liquidity um, for with no loans or anything, because they're like, we don't want to take a loan because we can't really promise anything right now, but we still want to participate. So if we have any extra liquidity sitting over, we'd like to participate. So there is actually a lot of stuff like that coming through. And the other thing too, as far as marketing, we are talking to a potential part-time CMO that is really kind of like focused on like PR and has done this quite a few times and worked with IBC quite a bit. That would also help kind of run and like own the narrative, overall narrative, to actually keep things going. We I asked him for actually a proposal to actually do this morning, but he has strep throat. So he said he'll get back to us tomorrow with that. So that's another thing too that's on that we're working on. I mean, have you guys had a chance to actually talk to your community members that they brought up any issues that you'd like to bring up?
I had a chance to talk to the moderators in part of me looking into the payout structure, and Fury is really on the ball with that. I think it's a good choice. Whoever, I think it's just naturally he got into the head moderator role, but he's taking it very seriously, putting a lot of time in, and I thought that was excellent. And hats off to Fury. He's really making Voy his own. So shout out to him, and we're meeting with Cody to get more details on it, but I think it's the compensation amounts talked about in that proposal are well deserved.
Chris, you mentioned the auditing. Is there any concern about the auditing coming back in time?
100% concerned about that. Like where we're at with that, so we have 2 weeks until the staking contracts have to be launched, so people can actually um, decide how long they want to lock their airdrop up for. I'm not sure how. I haven't actually checked, Karen, how the auditing for Kinesis is going. That one actually started already a while ago, I think. So I'm hoping that that's going well. I'm less worried about that one, but I am worried about the staking contract. My overall thoughts on that are one, they didn't say that they can't be done in 2 weeks yet. They haven't said they can be done yet. Two, one of the things that we do have the ability to, there's two other things that we could have. Number one, the staking contracts are upgradable, meaning that we could launch them. If there is a bug, we could upgrade them and everything should be fine. Or three, all that really has to be done in 2 weeks is the selection of the lock-in. And one of the things that we can do, if for some reason something happens, we could relaunch the contract, not the one that was originally launched, with that data that they already pre-selected. So for some reason, if we don't want to go the upgrade route and there was a bug found, we can just relaunch it with the actual data that they already pre-selected in that period of time and be good. So we do have some outs if for some reason the audit doesn't get done, or it does get done and there is actually a bug found. So
if we did that as well, it would reduce the number of contracts that need to be audited, because this would make more sense to Shelley. But the compensation contracts, and so what we are referring to as the staking contracts, what Chris is referring to as the staking contracts is what we refer to as the testnet contracts. That one we wouldn't even necessarily need to get audited if we're just getting the configuration data, and all we need to do is get the staking contracts for the staking program done, and then the compensation contracts. Yeah, please, Shelley. I see you waving. You're muted.
I was trying to make my hand visible. Yeah.
Blurry.
They're all the same. They're gonna be, if they're auditing a contract, the compensation, the staking, and the airdrop, they're the same. They're the same thing. But I see what you guys mean. You know, we have options. You know, we've been at it for like a couple weeks now, and so we're just trying to figure out how long it might take them.
Yeah. So I think that would actually be quite nice because it would mean that, well, the earliest something would need to be audited is actually the staking contracts for the staking program, because people would be depositing and locking up their funds, and that would be at the start of no, at the end of September, like the 30th of September, if I remember correctly. That's the like true latest that we can at least get those ones done, because that's when people will actually be depositing funds into it. And the other ones obviously will get funded on the 28th of October. You're muted again, Shelley.
Like when we refer to who's going to be funding the airdrops, is that a BA thing or is that a Voy Foundation thing?
That would be a Void Foundation thing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, because you know, even because there won't be no funding from the Voy Foundation until, like, you know, late October.
Yeah, exactly. But the users will be funding the staking contracts from the like 28th of September onwards. So obviously we don't want people to deposit tokens into a contract that's compromised. So that's the only that's the like big the latest we can get them fully like properly audited by. But yeah, something just keep in mind.
Thanks for the question, Dave. Anything else?
Yeah, thank you.
Just out of curiosity, who do we have as our auditors for these contracts?
Intrasoft.
Is this a group that we're planning on, working with continuously as well? Someone we should maybe, think about building a relationship from partnership perspective.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, they're one of the auditors
Yep.
that have experience auditing AVM. We should probably have like 4 or 5, honestly.
Yeah.
That we can point to. But yeah, they're one of them.
Okay, fantastic. Definitely gotta, maybe connect with them at some point.
I can connect you up with some other ones as well.
Fantastic.
Okay, that's actually the entirety of the agenda.
Well, that's it. And we have time over. Do you mind if we roll into the confidential side of things, so we can actually, if we have time, so I can talk about the actual contracts? So we turn the stream off. Sorry, everybody watching. Would love to actually share this information with you, but the reason we cannot is because it has information on there that could potentially hurt the partners, and they've asked certain things. What we have done is we've asked them all to actually provide us redacted contracts that they are actually comfortable with, so that we can actually show them publicly. We haven't received those yet, but we need to get moving on these. So that is where we are now.
Yeah,
All right.